is a jewelry design center.
JDC is a family-owned business with deep roots in Montana. Why Montana? Because this community made us. Made us family, made us artisans, made us believe in love, made us hometown heroes. Because this community made us shine. Why Montana? Because Montana is home.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
If they play again, should the trophy be on the line or just the bid to the national championship game?
I think it cannot be on the line.
Can't be on the line, right? You have to not have that, right?
It's not the Brawl of the Wild.
Right. If Montana State play again in the semis, which is how the seeds indicate that it might play out, I agree. Can't have the Great Divide Trophy on the line.
There's a lot ahead before that game can even happen.
Indeed.
And I don't. It's almost like the fact that it's predetermined, it's destined to be, gives me a little bit of a nervous feeling in my stomach. But also, I don't think people will be mad if it happens.
What a game on Saturday. Brooks Nuanez joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. If you are under a rock or you were in Bermuda or something, Montana State beat Montana 31-28 on Saturday. The best rivalry game since when? Is that the best one in terms of your time as a quote-unquote professional media person? I think this is year 12 for you. Is that the best one in your time as a professional photographer?
No question. It was one of the best games I've ever seen.
It's one of the best football games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was the greatest FCS football game I've seen.
Yep.
And only one that really rivals it is Montana, North Dakota State in 2023.
That game will always go down as the most wild, interesting, the most on the line. But obviously for this, the one thing that was, doesn't match a game like that North Dakota State game is the fact that these teams are going to continue to play. Yes. When it's losers out, when it's the playoffs, when it gets down to the semifinals, then there's a different feeling in the stadium. But as far as a college football game goes, it would be really hard to say that I've seen a better one. Yeah,
and I mean, we could do our whole list. That's not what we're here for. But, I mean, I know there's people saying, well, what about 2009 in the playoffs with the Griz? Sure. South Dakota State and App State are both on that list as well. James Madison in 2008 when the Griz went there and won. Sam Houston when the Cats went there and won in 2021. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to analyze the game. We'll give you projections later on.
This thing has grown, Colter, way past those times. I mean, Griz football was a big deal in 2009. It's grown. And what North Dakota State is at this point and what these programs are, I get that you may have some nostalgia for it, but this is as good as it gets.
Well, that's okay. I'm glad you went there because I think that the FCS is at the exact same time watered down, and it's never been so hard to win a national championship because the teams that are at the top are playing big league football. And that's what we saw on Saturday. And that's what Brent Vigen keeps trying to say. That's what Montana State's head coach has reemphasized. The level that the two Montana schools are pushing each other to because of the in-state arm race, but then also the level that they are still chasing in terms of what it actually takes to win a national championship. Those two things are actually higher than they've ever been. Then you talk about the growth of Missoula, the growth of Bozeman, the continued fervor around these two programs, and I totally agree with you. It is. So even if the FCS has some of its usual suspects have left over the last 20 years, actually the standard to win the Natty is much higher than it's ever been.
It's much higher. And the top 4-8 teams maybe are at a little bit of a different level. I mean, when you especially talk about North Dakota State and South Dakota State, but the Montana schools are right there with them. And, the transfer portals changed that a little bit. But as far as the national landscape and what we know about players at Youngstown State and Monmouth and, schools around the country, I think that awareness is at a very high level, higher than it's ever been. These two schools, the arms race is real, but we saw, two powerhouse teams play on Saturday. And you want to know one of my biggest takeaways?
Yes.
Was that over these last handful of years, let's call it 2023, which we just mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Cats and the Griz play each other and big league schools, big-time programs, and saying, this isn't good enough to beat North Dakota State.
Yes.
This game I'm watching, this team right here can't go beat South Dakota State in Frisco.
Correct.
Both teams I saw on Saturday could win a national championship.
That's exactly right. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's exactly right. That's one of my biggest takeaways as well. I absolutely think that if either of those two teams play that game on a neutral site, then they can definitely win the national championship. That's where it all comes into the crux of what if the semifinals is in Bozeman, because I think on one hand you'd say, well, Montana State earned the right to host that game by winning in Missoula. They'll never face a more hostile environment than what they had on their hands on Saturday, so they should take oodles of confidence into the playoffs. But also, you could say the other side, it is so hard to beat a team multiple times in a season. We hardly ever even get to see it, where you have multiple matchups within the scope of a season in football. So that's going to be a war. Certainly, though, we don't need to look down the road too much. Brooks Nuanez, Colter Nuanez, Montana Football Hour, probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. Let's go through just the back and forth of this game. 6 league changes. I thought the way that the momentum swung, but then how every time the other side had an answer, what just made for such a almost poetic football game. It was unbelievable to watch, and great job by both these teams. Neither one crumbled at all. It literally was just who's playing better that was determining the game, not who's messing up or not handling the moment. There was certainly some personal fouls and stuff like that, but that's because these guys were going crazy, man. There was so much smack talk, so much physical play, and it was a joy to watch both teams just slug it out.
It was an absolute joy, and every little piece of this game, it hit. There was nothing that was a miss. And it's been so often over the last, however many years, where it's young people, right? And the moment is huge, and it's so hard to not make a mistake. And mistakes in games like this can be catastrophic.
Yes.
And both these teams were able to avoid those monster mistakes. And maybe you say the Griz pick that, Caden Dowler grabs and takes for 6. Yeah, that's a huge mistake that probably swung the game. But also, that's a forced turnover, right?
It's a forced turnover, right? Like everybody can talk about, was he held, was he not, was it PI? I don't know. I think that's just, it's so minute, the detail within the scope of that moment. But that's a great play where they have Wortham isolated with Cole Taylor guarding him in man. I mean, that's all day long. But Cole Taylor is able to incur the route at least a little bit, and then the throw is high. It goes off his hands, and the ball bounces squarely into Caden Dowler's hands. Like you said in the postgame press conference, I don't know how this keeps happening.
Absolutely, but he also
put himself in the position.
He could have absolutely dropped into his half, and he knew that Cole Taylor was in man in a tough matchup, and he sat on that in a great help situation.
Yep.
I'm not exactly sure what his responsibility was, but he was in some kind of coverage.
And he
over
said
the top.
that when we asked about it, he said, "I saw that that was exactly what they do," and that's working. That's why he's the defensive MVP of the league. His ability to process this on the fly. He said, I saw them motion Wortham. I saw Cole was going to be in man. I knew I needed to help him, so I sort of sat in the spot where I knew I could cheat enough to be in that exact 4 square feet that he was in.
Huge play. But as we talk about the momentum swings, it was overwhelming for both teams, and you just assumed that someone would get avalanched. There would be some kind of change of possession where a team just absolutely gets avalanched.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Hey, Sarah. What up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez Now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more championships.
Hello, my name is Kelly Ayat, quarterback at the University of Montana. In the off-season, it's important to do everything you can to prepare for the season. In high school, that means funding your program. In my experience, Vertical Raise is the ultimate online fundraiser platform. They'll broaden your reach of your fundraiser and bring in more money than other platforms. And there are no sneaky or hidden fees like other companies. If you're trying to raise money for your program, reach out to Vertical Raise today.
Drink a beer and support a Griz athlete. DraftWorks is a longtime favorite of beer enthusiasts across the Treasure State, and DraftWorks has created a sessionable, delicious lager that donates part of every sale to the name, image, and likeness efforts at the University of Montana. Up with Montana Lager is a crisp, effervescent beer that pours pale straw in color and greets you with an inviting malty aroma, and it's crafted with Griz athletes in mind. If you're headed to the tailgate or stocking up to watch football, give back to the NIL Collective at the University of Montana by drinking Up with Montana Lager, proudly created by DraftWorks Brewing. Well, how about Montana State, where they get the ball in the first possession and they have a good kick return and then they start pounding, and you're like, okay, Cats are blowing the Griz off the ball a little bit right now. They're running it a little bit, but then they get down the red zone and the script flips. First, the Cats get the penalty. The stadium's going crazy. I can't remember who it was. One of the offensive linemen jumps off sides. Then Cedric Jefferson, who's making his first start in this, he gets rolled by Caleb Otluski. Sack City. Lamson gets his head torn off. Very next play, other side, Kellen Dietrich comes off the edge. This time, it's a high-low, and Lamson gets completely body slammed. Cats settle for a field goal, but that's a perfect example of how, welcome to the rivalry, son. And then Lamson's all of a sudden seeing ghosts and running around crazy and can't handle it. It didn't deter him at all. He just readjusted and resettled back in. And to me, that was one of the key factors in this game. Was after that first drive, the Griz only got to him one other time when Hunter Peck just straight up one-on-one and made a play. But Lamson settling in and being unbelievable. I mean, that's one of the most poised performances in the history of the rivalry. 18 of 20 for 175 yards, a touchdown. Also had another one taken away on a penalty, and he also rushed 15 times for 80 yards. You take away the 4 sacks, and he was over 100. I think 104 his net gain on the ground. So what a Cat Griz debut for Justin Lamson.
It doesn't surprise me because it's kind of who he's grown into being. When people talked about, man, he has no idea what he's getting ready for, I was like, I thought he did beforehand. So hats off, though, because just being prepared and being ready doesn't mean that you can actually execute it. And really, really challenging environment to play in. And one thing that I think is interesting and I think is worth saying is, when you have home field advantage like Montana does, it doesn't mean that as a player you're not nervous, and it's also not crazy loud for you as the home team. I think a lot of people just think, well, you're playing with all this momentum because you have the home crowd. They have your back. You can't lose with them. You got to remember that there's an immense amount of pressure on the home team here in this situation, and how it took a lot for the Griz to hang in there and fight back and throw punches and blow for blow. And I mean, I think both teams have a tremendous amount to be proud of, and especially a Montana team that ends up closing at a touchdown dog at home and fought every second tooth and nail to pretty much pull it into a dead even game in the last couple minutes.
The Bobcats, Brooks Nuanez joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, Montana Football Hour, probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. The Cats dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, but the Griz mitigated that and then some. I thought the Griz linebackers played excellent in this game. I thought Caleb Otluski had his best game as a Grizzly. I thought Peyton Wing was there too. Solomon Tuliaupupu maybe not as big of an impact in it. Elijah Tolbert being out still hurts the Griz, I think, a lot. Clay Levin made some plays too, but I thought it was specifically Otluski and Wing that played very well. I also thought the Griz safeties played well in this game too. But I thought the Cat front four was as advertised. They had 4 sacks and probably another 8 hurries. I rewatched the game twice now. I don't remember hardly any, if any, blitzes by the Cats. They were just able to sit back in their basically their 7-man shell. But that's all to say that certainly the Bobcats winning the line of scrimmage at the very end of the game was the determining factor in the game. The Cats got the ball back with 6 minutes and 59 seconds left. They were able to salt away the win. Julius Davis had a couple runs, including a 4th and 1, where, you talk about wash the bad taste out of your mouth, right? The Cats had the 4th and 1 in the national championship game last year against North Dakota State when they were mounting their comeback, and I got stopped. Then they had the 4th and 1 in double overtime against South Dakota State at home in the Gold Rush, got stopped. They ran the exact same play, the exact same personnel set, and they get it this time. Like, what a call by Brent Vigen to say, hey, we're going to run the play we're going to run, but we're going to get it this time. That's the one spot where I thought that the Lions did have an impact on the game. The way the Cats could drop defensively and still get a pass rush, and also, of course, the last drive. But that's all to say the Griz mitigated it pretty dang well to hang in this game, even though they were getting blown off.
Yeah, and to get 4 sacks and to, the running – Montana State was able to run the football, but that's kind of been their MO. It's going to continue to be. I mean, especially when Lamson goes for over 100. I mean, a couple of his scrambles were so timely, and they really impacted the game. But defensively, as far as being able to get after the quarterback and create a little havoc and do what the Griz historically this season have been good at, I thought that they actually came out, even though it was a simple game plan according to Coach Bobby Hauck, I still think that they were able to kind of be who they are and get after people on defense. And then, the Cats offensively, they really did run the football well. And I think it was kind of the difference in the game. The lines, you could tell Montana State is deeper, bigger, faster, stronger on the lines for sure.
Cash One Pawn, Missoula's #1 pawn shop.
You want money? We got money. You need money? We got money. We're cash.
Do yourself a favor and make Cash One Pawn part of your online shopping habits. Cash One Pawn has an awesome online inventory, everything from firearms to power tools to speaker equipment to jewelry. Visit Cash One Pawn today.
Cash One Pawn.
8720 Roller Coaster Road, CashOnePawn.com.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
1959, at Street's Grocery in Whitefish, Montana's special spice was born. Alpine Touch. It's the taste you grew up with, well seasoned through the test of time. As the tradition carries from one Montana generation to the next. From its humble beginnings to a trusted brand, here's to the next 60 years. Alpine Touch. Montana's special spice since 1959.
Thinking about selling your home in Missoula? Here's the truth. Buyers are still out there, but they're being picky. That means how you market your home matters more than ever. I'm Ty Hobbs with Hobbs Homes at Keller Williams, and my job is to make sure your listing stands out. From strategic pricing to professional marketing, stunning photography, and targeted advertising, I'll position your home to attract the right buyers and get you the best price possible. In today's market, it's not just about putting a sign in the yard, it's about telling your home story, creating urgency, and negotiating every dollar in your favor. If you've been on the fence about selling, now's the time to talk strategy. Let's see what your home could sell for and how we can make it happen.
Middle 8 is something that Brett Vegan has talked about a ton this year. Last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half. That's been a place the Cats have made so much money over the last 4 years. Talk about the coaching battle. Guess who dominated the middle 8 in this game? The Griz. Bobby Hauck acted like on Monday that he had never heard that the Cats had not given up a single third quarter point or about the middle 8. Then he had a game plan that was specifically tailored towards dominating the middle 8. He was very well aware that was a part of the game that his team had to win, and they did.
After he was educated by the fine folks in the media corps.
After Sean Rady taught him, right? No, but for real, though, the 2-minute drill by the Griz to close the half where Ayat has the unbelievable scramble and then dives into the end zone and gets it. That gives the Griz some juice going into halftime. They knew they were getting the ball right out of the halftime locker room, too, because the Cats decided to take the ball off the opening kickoff so they could have it first. And then Montana has a 16-play, 92-yard drive that eats up 9 minutes on the clock. We were looking around after halftime, and so many people went to tailgate, and we were like, well, did they not understand this is like such a sick game? Why did everybody not just come back in? And then there was nobody in the stands. But it was so brilliant because the drive took so long that by the time the Cats got the ball back, the stands were full. And so brilliant coaching by Bobby Hauck and his staff in that span. And that was the fulcrum point of the game. When the Griz scored on the Michael Wortham run to cap that 90-yard drive, and they were up 24-21. No, they were up 21-17. That was the fulcrum point, because if then the Griz got to stop and the Cats punted. If the Cats don't come up with the play where Caden Dowler gets the pick six, the Griz are off to the races in that scenario. But instead, the Dowler pick six helps the Cats hold the rope, and then Zach Gruz's field goal gives the Cats all the momentum back, and then Justin Lamson engineers a drive, and all of a sudden the Cats are up 10, and the rest is history. They're able to salt the game away. So I thought those two plays, though, the Dowler pick six and the Zach Gruz block field goal, were the two plays of the game. That's how Montana State was able to keep the momentum on their side.
Yeah, it's huge plays. And, I mean, talk about timely. Zach Cruz and the blocked field goal will probably go down in Bobcat history forever. I mean, he floated. Did you see the double? He got up and then got up even higher. I mean, it's as athletic and as big of a play that you can make in a football game, especially a game that comes down to 3 points at the very end. I mean, talk about pretty picturesque.
All right, last thing. Brooks Nuanez, Colter Nuanez, Montana Football Hour, Ryan Miller, and Coburn Law. The Cats are 8-0 in the Big Sky. Finished with an undefeated league season for the third time in 4 years. They're now officially 37-3 under Brent Vigen, and Brent Vigen now officially is tied with Jim Sweeney and Rob Ash for the most Big Sky titles in Montana State history. Tons of stuff going around about his potential future. He's got so much success and so many wins, he's going to be on the short list everywhere in the Western United States when those jobs come open. I don't know, is Cal going to call him? Now that Cal got rid of Justin Wilcox, I'm not sure, but Vigen's certainly in the mix. Colorado State, Oregon State. But for the here and now, he's got himself the best team in the Big Sky again, and I don't really know if anybody thought they would be here. You and I both thought Montana State would be good this year, but to be as good, at least at this exact moment in the season, as the team that they had last year, which is the greatest team in their school's history, and to have no misstep at quarterback after replacing the reigning Walter Payton Award winner, and to be better on defense after you graduated the Big Sky Defensive MVP, and to have cohesion on your coaching staff when everybody left and you had a whole team worth of guys bail into the portal, and to be there, all that stuff happens, and you are undefeated in league and you've won 10 games in a row going to the playoffs. I mean, come on, man. It's the most shoo-in thing in the world. He's the Big Sky Conference Coach of the Year. He's probably going to be the National Coach of the Year for the second year in a row, Brent Vigen.
What a resume that you just read off there. And that was one season. And you talk about being 37-3 over the last 4 years. I mean, who's he lost to? Montana, and then at Idaho.
At Idaho. In the game where Brendan Hall lost it and couldn't kick anymore. He never kicked again. He just punted after that.
Wow. What a deal. Brent Vigen's a tremendous coach, and he's also kind of evolved and changed his style this year. We've talked a lot about how he's pretty fiery. He's yelling on the sideline. He's breaking headsets. Not always the way that he has gone about his business, but I think he knows what this team needs, and it's all his team at this point. You know, there's no crossover. There's no hang-ons from previous regimes or anything like that, and all I know is this. Every Montana Grizzly fan sure hopes he takes one of those jobs. But I know that here in Montana as a whole and in the FCS, we'd love to see him stay and see what he could build, because right now, if you get a couple of these guys coming back, some of these guys that you've developed, the Caden Dowlers of the world.
Sure,
Taco Dowler.
Adam Jones.
Talk about some real deal talent that's coming back. I think that they could be in it for a few more years with Coach Vigen.
Don't have to ask this out. Just need a one or two word answer. Eastern Washington did not get rid of their head coach because Aaron Best still keeps charging on. But Portland State fires Bruce Barnum. Mickey Mental was fired at Weber State several weeks ago. How about them just whipping Northern Arizona's butts and making sure they don't make the playoffs? That was totally overshadowed because everybody in the world was watching the Bobcats and the Grizzlies on Saturday.
Go lose to Weber
under an interim head coach. What is even happening? They gave up 48 points. Crazy. Anyways, Weber opening, Portland State opening, Cal Poly opening. Rank those jobs 1, 2, 3 in terms of order of prestige and or who could get back into the mix soon, most quickly.
I would say it should be Weber, but it's not anymore. So I'd say Cal Poly's number 1, Weber's number 2, Portland State's number 3.
Yep, that's right. Brooks Nuanez here on the Montana Football Hour, presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. Ryan Miller and Coburn, experts when it comes to criminal defense. Have any needs when it comes to medical malpractice, wrongful death cases, personal injury, or DUI, you can call them anytime, 406-542-2233, or visit online rmcattorneys.com. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. We'll hear from more of these subjects from this football game here in just a little while. Brent Vigen, Bobby Houck, as well as TJ Roush, Eli Gilman, Justin Lamson, Caden Dowler, and Zach Cruz. A full slate coming your way.